What's going on, Ray? How you doing, my man? This is
Every week it seems that we do 2 weekers, but that's all my fault though.
it happens.
Respect it.
That just means that untitled, unfocused is gonna be, today we're doing a double episode. It's gonna be a thick boy.
I can almost swear like a month ago we did like actually 2 single episodes and felt good about that.
Yeah, no, it was good.
And then we're back to double. Yeah, but it's just the nature of my schedule, honestly. I blame myself for my insecurities.
That's okay. That's all right. Yeah, but even so, it's not bad because we do got some good stuff, right?
There's actually big news. Honestly, I'm surprised. There's a lot we can actually go into.
Yeah, we got a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, untitled and focused. Tyler, Rayman, the drill.
Yeah, they already know. They. And yeah. So what do you want to start with today, Ray? You have any itches you wanna scratch today?
Itches.
Yeah.
I will bring up like major thing to date the pod.
Okay.
Is that recently we have had the passing of Miura for Berserk.
Yep, I was gonna mention that, but go ahead.
Yeah, it is very recent.
Yeah.
And relevant. Now, as we all know, based on everything that if you are previous watchers of the cast, you already know. If you don't know, that I am the manga reader.
Mm-hmm.
So of course I've kept up with Berserk. And honestly, it is sad to say that like many fans of Berserk obviously want to see an ending to like what is possibly one of the greatest things to hit like the genre of like dark fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Like a long time. One of the greatest, well-written, I guess some of the most beautiful panels as well. Also brutal and like grotesque in nature, and somewhat like philosophical as well, when I would present certain topics. In morality, it's pretty. Like Miura had like a really big scope of what he wanted for Berserk, and what he wanted it for it to represent and reach, and it just stands for much more than what it actually was. I guess on a surface level.
Yeah, I saw that. I was sad. I don't really have, really connection to Berserk. I always wanted to read it or watch it or whatever. But I understand how big of a deal it is. Because Berserk is huge. It's also.
Yeah, I will say it's not affecting me as much as well. Even though I've read like Berserk and I'm caught up, it's not something that I was like super deep into.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something that I understood because I'm like, he just takes a lot of breaks. I'm like, I'll just read it whenever a chapter comes out and casually like enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not something like like if it was One Piece, like let's say like Oda died for example, because I keep up with One Piece like basically religiously at this point. I think I would have more reaction, but that's just the way how I consume.
Yeah.
So there's people who consume like Berserk in a similar manner and like kind of go back into chapters, go and like reread. I don't do that though, so I don't have the same connection as other people would to this.
Yeah, totally.
But I feel it's like a loss for community. It's a loss, for someone who has inspired like hundreds and thousands of works over like the past like 20 plus years that Berserk has probably been out. So.
Yeah, I mean, any way you look at it, no matter how connected you are to him, I mean, he is important to the manga industry.
Yeah, manga, anime, video games, movies. So much work has been just influenced by him.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big impact. Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, totally.
There's not much to be said because other people are saying much more things. So.
Yeah, but I mean, at the very least, it was good to mention it because, again, it is very important, very influential figure. Mind, all that stuff. Yeah, man. Try to go on a more just whimsical approach. Why don't we go on to Promare?
Ooh. I almost forgot that was the movie we watched.
Yeah.
I was like, what was the other movie? I'll be honest, I did not enjoy Promare.
Okay, coming in. Okay, why is that?
I'll be like, it's visually breathtaking.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most I can probably applaud this thing for. Like, Trigger does not miss with animation.
That's true.
That's it, full stop. They don't miss with animation. Promare once again displaying that in all its glory. They don't miss with animation. I just feel like Promare is a very basic story to tell.
It is.
It's something that's been done thousands of times.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel the same way. Where it's like visually, it's crazy. You know, the animation, the art style, all that stuff. I really like how they don't really use black lines to outline anything. It's all with colors. You know, it gives it a different look and feel.
It has also good use of CG as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The
really
CG
good.
didn't feel like off. It felt like really good when it was used.
And then the fight scenes, of course, you know, very over the top. But yeah, I feel the same way about the story. It wasn't anything crazy. It wasn't anything I was like invested in. You know, it was just. I mean, it was cool. It was like we got fire people, fire benders, and then we got firefighters who are against them. And you know, it's kind of like it reminded me of Fire Force. It's kind of similar.
To me, this kind of like hit like I feel like they did something similar with BNA, and I think that's why like I felt.
Yeah.
Because BNA did like with like humans, they had like the animal people.
And
I felt like they did something like really similar to BNA. And it was like.
Yeah. I mean, because that was also about like a certain type of
like one corporation.
Yeah.
Where, like you think is good, and like it flips, and it's like, no, we're actually the baddies. Oh no.
And you're trying to figure out like who's good and who's not, and then by the end you kind of sympathize with the so-called terrorists, you know, which happened in this as well. Yeah. I mean, it was cool.
Yeah, I'll blame it on the fact that I've digested BNA first. I think BNA just does it better. I guess with the story they're trying to do. Yeah.
Sure. This movie somehow, you know, because Trigger always does, they somehow made their way to space. Because in almost every Trigger thing, we always go to space.
Trigger's great at that, also. Like, they're really good. I mean, I can't blame them for. They're good at what they do. They like the animation. They like doing stuff over the top, and just as extreme as possible. And if they can, they will get you into space.
We will get there. I mean, you know, at least this one, because you know, people are very what's the word? I don't know. Whatever. They didn't like the Darling in the Franxx how it ended in space, right? It didn't need to end in space. With this movie, it makes sense that they went to space. You know, trying to go to another planet, trying to leave this one behind because it's dying. Apparently, made sense.
The thing with Franxx is that like it was going in one direction and it went like it took a turn, you know. But like Franxx was going like the super cool path, and it's like no space.
Yeah, because wasn't Franxx like we knew about the like evil whatever, like the demon things, the monster things, and they were underground. And I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
But the underground things are from space. And it's like, oh, well, you didn't really have to do that. You know, like it was already cool how it was.
Again, but I feel like for reaching into Franxx, it's because it wants to base itself a lot on Evangelion.
Yeah.
It's like the angels in Evangelion always come from outer space and come in. Even though, like, at least in early Franxx, it wasn't displayed like that. They were like always like underground or coming up. They've been there for years. But I think it's just them like reaching again and being like, this is just another call out to Evangelion.
Yeah. I mean, I personally wasn't really mad at it. I mean, I understand when people didn't like it, but I thought it was fine.
I was okay with them going to space. I just hated how the story was going from there.
Yeah,
so it didn't feel like natural.
Yeah, it was more you expected something, and while the actual outcome was fine, the expected outcome would have been better. You know, like they kept going that way. The ending probably would have been better. You would have liked it more.
Again, I've heard they fixed it in the manga, so I'll have to go check how they did that. But I think we keep talking about it. Darling Franxx manga could be added to the list.
Yeah, so I don't have anything else to say about Promare. It was cool. It was fine.
Yep.
It was cool to look
That's
at.
it.
I mean,
again, it was a beautiful movie.
Yeah, I mean, I could see myself looking at clips again, like at the fight scenes and stuff, just
it's
for
pretty
some.
cool.
Yeah.
Looks nice.
The story itself was just.
Not sure I'd watch it again.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of gave me the same feeling that like Avatar did, the movie with the blue people, because it was like, I mean, it was cool to watch the first time, but again, even with that, that's another case of we've seen that story a million times, so you don't watch it again for the story. You know, you may watch it for the visuals.
I think you're right with it. But I will say the first time, well, I said the first like 2 or 3 times I saw Avatar, I was like, it's kind like I'll praise Avatar and its world building. It's kind of ridiculous.
Okay, yeah, that was
Even
good.
though it's pretty basic, like what it wants to do and how it like shows it like it shows more than it tells, you know. But they'll say things otherwise.
Yeah, I watched it. The first time I watched it was in theaters. I watched it in 3D, right?
It blew my mind, dude.
And then the second time I watched it at home. Fell asleep. Woke up. Movie was still playing. That was crazy. I was like, how long have I been asleep?
It's a long movie.
It's a long movie though. It's like a 3-hour movie, isn't it? It's crazy.
It's fun though. So
I really wanted Endgame to
Yeah,
be like 4 hours. You know?
same. I kind of wanted like a 3 or 4 hour movie. Just a nice epic.
That would have been crazy. I got a urge yesterday. I didn't act on it, but I got an urge to watch all the Lord of the Rings movies. I don't know why.
For reference, I will say, Tyler, in the other Discord, we have movie nights.
Yeah.
I kid you not, we have the roster of movies.
You have mentioned this to me before.
It's huge. It's crazy.
Is Lord of the Rings on there?
It is planned eventually.
Okay.
There's too many movies on there to count. We did watch a lot of them. I think recently we're going to be doing Rush Hour.
Nice.
1, 2, and 3. Not like all in one night though.
Oh yeah, I was about to ask. 3 movies is a lot.
We'll watch Rush Hour 1. I think we're planning Rush Hour for tonight maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's happening though.
It's just chaos.
It's just like whenever people are available, we're like, just hop in, we'll do it now. The most recent one we liked was we did Hitman like a couple of days ago. Like 2007 Hitman. Awful movie, by the way. Would never recommend watching that. It's awful, but it's actually funny to watch though. I take it back. Awful. You can trash on that movie and it's great. It's a nice banter movie where you can talk over it because you already know what's happening. But before that we watched Nobody, who has the guy who was...
Yeah, Bob Odenkirk.
That was a good movie. That was enjoyable.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet. I wanted to see that.
Highly recommend it.
And you watched John Wick on here.
I did see John Wick.
Yeah. So then, you know, without spoilers, you know, how did you like it versus John Wick?
I'll say John Wick is more of a path of revenge and like vengeance.
Totally. Yep.
Nobody is more like, well, it's tit for tat, really.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, isn't you know, again,
tit for tat is revenge though, but like.
Yeah, I don't really know the story of Nobody, but doesn't he work for the government? Or he did?
Yeah, he's an ex-military officer.
Okay. Whereas John Wick isn't. He was just really good at killing. He was just an assassin, basically.
He was just like a #1 like hitman assassin.
He was
like, John Wick has great world building, by the way, which makes it like different on a scale, you know. Like John Wick is like, you know, it shows you a bit in the underworld, which is super cool to see. Nobody shows you not really the underworld, but like, you know, nice little peek. But it's not super world building like John Wick is. Where I enjoyed the world building in John Wick also. I'll say both of them have great action and choreography. I will say though this, Nobody has banger soundtracks. Like the soundtracks in Nobody are banging.
Okay. Yeah.
And it has RZA.
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. I can't wait. Have you? Okay, because you watched 1 on here for the first time, right? Back when we watched John Wick. Have you seen 2 and 3 since
I haven't
then?
seen the other sequel. I haven't seen the other ones.
Okay,
but I will say the reason why I haven't is because we've also put those on the movie roster.
Oh, we did. Oh yeah, you did. Yeah, right. I remember you saying that. Okay, because
so I was like, I'm holding off on watching them until like we actually have it, you know, until we want to bring it up.
Yeah, when you see, I'm excited when you guys get to the other ones because you know the whole world building thing, right? John Wick 3 goes all in on world building. It's a huge focus of the movie, because at that point it's like the third one, so they're like, all right, we have to expand this world even more now that we're like building like a franchise, you know, instead of just making one movie.
John Wick made it interesting because like it has the hotel and it kind of hints at like all these like hitmen using it.
It's like those
like,
coins too.
Like both good guys and bad guys, and like are like mixed in there, but like the hotel's like a peace area.
Yeah.
No one's supposed to be fighting here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's kind of like an honorary truce for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. It builds on that. We already had this. I think we talked about it, but yeah, I enjoy that.
Yeah, it's great. Did you know Friday? I think Friday. We were originally, you know, before COVID and all that, we were gonna get John Wick 4 and Matrix 4 on the same day, like 2 days ago.
Really?
Yeah, they planned on them releasing the same day. and
Keanu Reeves, like.
Yeah, he's just owning the box office. Because both those movies are gonna get like ridiculous numbers.
I believe it.
I don't know if either of them will be good. I mean, John Wick 4 will probably be more of John Wick. I don't know about Matrix 4 though. I don't know how good that'll be.
They could try to like. I mean, I've only seen the first Matrix, so I can only speak on that.
Yeah. You don't really have to see the other two.
Yeah, they could try to bring it back to something like that. But I mean, I don't know how they would do it. It seems difficult.
Which I'm sure after all this time, like Matrix 4, I'm sure at least a little bit of it is just to get money because people are going to see it no matter what. But I would like to think that if they really care about the movie, they would have learned from, what has it been, 20 years since the first one? First one came out in 2000, right? They would have learned like what people liked about the first one and didn't like about 2 and 3. And been like, okay, let's actually make a really good, like, true sequel to this. You know, not just
that would be
flub it
crazy.
up.
And then imagine people saying you don't watch 2 and 3 anymore, you just watch Matrix 1 and Matrix 4.
Yeah, 1 and 4, yeah. That's the new watch order.
That's the only 2 movies that...
It's like reading the first chapter and the last chapter of a book and being like, I got it. I can tell you anything. Go ahead, quiz me.
There's no deep lore here. It's just these.
That's all you need. And you know how it starts and how it ends.
That's great.
So we're kind of speaking on movies. We do have a second one, which is a secret that we watched. But I would like to mention something kind of about movies. Some little thing. I don't know if you saw it. Dave Bautista, right? You may know him from Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay. You may also know him from the WWE, where he spent like 20 years or something. He's pretty much. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, what's the WWE? Sorry, I'm not gonna go do that bit.
Okay.
We're good.
He's like pretty much said like Guardians 3 is the last time you're gonna see him as Drax. Which throws up the question of like, does that mean he knows his character's gonna die in Guardians 3, or is he planning on being recast? And is it even possible to recast him if they continue to use the Drax character? You know what I mean? Like that'd be weird, right? We haven't had any recastings in
a
20
while.
years.
The last casting was probably like Hulk.
Yeah, or Iron Patriot.
Yeah.
He was the one. I don't remember his name. Like Ron Howard or something. What was his name?
Yeah.
Todd Howard. Isn't his last name Howard? Terrence Howard.
Yeah, it's Howard.
Terrence Howard.
Yeah.
There it is.
Howard.
Yeah, but that hasn't
Yeah,
been
he
in
was recast.
20 years. You know.
He was fine, honestly. I think he was asking for like ridiculous amount of money or whatever, and they're like, nah, just like.
Yeah. Well, I mean. Yeah, there's been a lot of controversy over that, or like what really happened, and like. I think he had every right to ask for more money, because at the time Terrence Howard was 10 times bigger than Robert Downey Jr. was.
Yeah.
You know? And obviously...
He's not wrong. Again, at the time, he was correct to ask for that.
Now he's not. Now Robert Downey Jr. is one of the biggest stars in Hollywood, but at the time, I mean, I kind of understand it. You know?
Well, to be fair, though, he barely had any time in the movie.
That's true. That's true.
sometimes it's like, dude, like you were in this movie for like 20 minutes max.
Yeah.
Your screen time is like this little.
Yeah, I get it.
I can also like that. I can see them being like, dude, like you're not in this movie that much to ask for this money.
I mean, like, it wasn't just the first one. After that, it was like from now on, Like,
yeah,
like
no, yeah, it's like going forward. It's like, dude.
And like, I wouldn't, I wouldn't know how much he knew, how much Iron Patriot was gonna be used in the future. I mean, Kevin Feige probably didn't even know. I mean, I don't know how many movies Kevin Feige has in his mind.
They don't think like that deep. They're like,
yeah.
At least I believe before like Avengers, it's just like we just come out with stuff and we hope it works.
Yeah.
And I feel like after the first Avengers, they're like, now we have to kind of continue and let's not think about what we got to do.
But yeah, I mean, with Dave Bautista, do you think that he's saying he's gonna die, or do you think that they're just gonna recast him?
I think it's a recast, but I don't want to say it's not. It's like based on what I'm hearing. At least he's saying that this like that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it's kind of bold to say like that's him coming out and saying this is the last time you'll see me, like before the movie's like actually out or anything like that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess apparently that is the last movie in his contract. So like he's basically saying I'm not doing this character anymore. I mean, I don't think he hates the character by any means. It just doesn't want to do it anymore.
It could also be that he could just be done with it. Like, he had fun.
Yeah.
And now it's like he wants to move on to other things. Which is also a thing. I mean, James Gunn could also rewrite it. I've heard, I think from James Gunn as well, that he's not planning on doing anything else. Or if he's doing like Guardians, you know what I mean? Like he's not planning on like recasting him.
Mm-hmm.
Is what he said. Did he say anything along those lines? He did.
I can't confirm or deny that. I'm not sure.
I think he said like something along the lines like he doesn't plan on recasting anyone at this time or whatever.
Okay.
When he's doing the movies. But I mean like if he's done with it, all for him. Maybe like they'll have an ending for Drax and then that's it.
Yeah. I mean,
like Drax doesn't have to die. He can just honestly, at least for Guardians, there's a lot that could be done with that. Like he could just find something else to do.
Yeah. I mean, my whole thing when it comes to like anybody in the MCU. Okay. How many Fast and Furious movies have you watched, Ray?
Like 2.
Okay.
And they're like the first 2.
Well,
when it was actually about racing. Or like 3. I forgot. Tokyo Drift exists.
I'm going to spoil them for you because it's like a real life spoiler. Paul Walker, obviously very dead. And, so the 6th one? 6?
To be fair, I think I spoiled like some. I'd look up spoilers for Fast and Furious because I'm just...
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's not like it's whatever.
What do you mean Paul Walker's dead? What do you mean he can't act in the other Fast and Furious movies?
So, 6 was the last one with him.
What do you mean, like, there's like a bunch of like, the stories are not chronologically in order, even though they say not final, Fast and Furious 6.
Yeah,
and
yeah, they are. I mean, I think with 7, they finally started to move past Tokyo Drift. Because technically Tokyo Drift happens after 4, 5, and 6. Technically. Doesn't make any sense.
And then they show Han in the trailer anyway for 7?
Yeah, Han, I think 9 is the newest one that's coming out, and like Han is back. He's alive.
Yeah, he's in the trailer for 9 or whatever, yeah.
I don't know, like, how did that even happen? His car exploded.
Han's back, baby. The best character from Tokyo Drift.
It was good, yeah. 100%. Yeah.
And I know they did bring him back for other movies because they were prequels, but it's like...
Oh, yeah. I mean, he just wasn't in... Yeah, I mean, with the whole Tokyo Drift timeline thing, it's weird. But all I was going to say is that with that franchise, right, they didn't kill off Brian. they just said, oh, well, he's done because he has a family now. And it's like, he can't risk. I mean, not only does he have a wife, he has a kid, right? So it's like, okay, well, he's the only one of us that has a kid. Well, I guess Dom does, but whatever. He has a kid, so he can't risk his life anymore. You know, he doesn't want to. And like us as his friends, his family, we can't force him to do this life anymore. So we just don't see him anymore. Which doesn't make sense.
The driving off.
Yeah, them driving off, yeah.
Split ways.
Which also, real quick, it doesn't make sense because in 9, his wife is in 9. So I'm like, if his wife is here, did Brian let his wife, I think Mia's her name, did Brian let Mia try and save the world with you guys again and he's just cool with it? It doesn't make sense. But then bringing that...
CG Paul Walker comes in?
Yeah. Which I totally think if he's not in this one, they're gonna like do some weird CG stuff for the final movie. Because I think they're ending it with 10 or 11. I think Vin Diesel announced that. Like there's gonna only be 11 movies and that's it. They're gonna bring it back. But like bringing that into the MCU, you know, I think that if like a character is done, right, and they don't kill them off, they have to explain it in a way that makes sense as to why they're not coming back. You know, so like if who's like a character, if like Doctor Strange, you know, if like his contract ends or whatever and it's like, all right, he's not in the MCU anymore, they have to kill off Doctor Strange, or they have to just tell us why he's not going to be in any movies, because he is a superhero. Like, you know, he saves from not physical threats but mythical threats or whatever he said. I don't know what it was. You know, like he's the new like time wizard or something. I don't remember the name.
I will say, like, on the respect, not to respect anyone who's like acting here, at least in the MCU, Doctor Strange is a much larger character than Drax.
Sure.
But yes, no, we need that. Like, you need to have an excuse as to why he's not in their movies.
Yeah.
You can't just like have him.
I mean,
the principle still applies.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even if like, what's like a more minor character? I mean, I guess I was gonna go back to Guardians and say like Mantis, right? Like if Mantis just doesn't show up anymore, it's like, well, we have to know if she's dead, or if maybe she got so injured, like she's gonna start a fan, even though she's like kind of with Drax, sort of. So that'd be weird. But like,
isn't James Gunn's brother also in like Guardians?
James Gunn's brother plays.
He's the guy who has the new fin.
Yes, I think so. Yes.
He'll be back for Guardians 3.
Sean Gunn.
So, yeah, Sean Gunn will be back for Guardians 3.
Sean Gunn also plays like Ratman or whatever in Suicide Squad. Like weird like Ratman creature.
Suicide Squad looks so good.
Doesn't Sean Gunn also play Rocket? Like not voice Rocket.
Oh,
like
he may do the motion.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
To be fair, James Gunn is saving money that way. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, come here, boy. Let's do this bread.
Keep it in the family, you know. If you have someone that can do it, might as well.
Some people, you know, would say, what's it called? It's like when you give like positions to family members.
Nepotism.
But it's not really, dude. It's just efficiency at this point.
Yeah, and like,
it's like, why would I pay you a bunch of money when I can pay this guy like a decent amount of money, and he can just do it because he knows me, like, and we're family.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like nepotism only becomes an issue when your family member cannot do the job well enough. You know, where it's like, okay, you clearly hired you hired them, but you didn't like vet them the same way you would vet other candidates.
It's like, I know he'll do things the way I tell him to, because I told him what to do, and he'll do it.
or I'm gonna tell my parents. No.
Tell mom. No more Thanksgiving dinner, fam. This bread.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought that was interesting for like him. You know, Dave is very vocal. I mean, he was very vocal when Disney fired James Gunn initially. He was like, "Oh, you're gonna fire James? Well, I'm out too. I'm not in the MCU anymore."
Bautista was like really big with it too.
Yeah.
He was very vocal. He said James Gunn did nothing wrong. It's like, if you're doing this, I'm leaving MCU.
Dave seems like a cool dude. You know, I'm glad that he's finally.
He sticks up. It's great.
He's also finally becoming like a movie star. You know, like he was just in Zack Snyder's like zombie movie or whatever that's on Netflix.
Oh yeah. What was it called? Something
like
the Dead.
Yeah, like Army of the Dead or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that looks kind of fun. It looks like a fun movie.
Yeah.
At first, I was like, "What is this movie?" When I saw the trailer, but then as the trailer went on, I was like, "Oh, it's a zombie movie."
He also turned down Fast and Furious because he was trying to get a Gears of War movie going, which is very bold. Like,
I think it could work with him though. I think Dave Bautista could pull it off.
Oh, I 100%.
Maybe not like super good movie. Like, I mean, I don't rate video game movies super highly anymore. I will say that Mortal Kombat is the best video game movie I ever saw.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, the new one, yeah.
I haven't seen it. I didn't. I don't know if it was good or if it was just like good for Mortal Kombat. You know?
I think it's probably the best video game movie out there, other than Sonic. And Sonic's like the second best.
Does Wreck-It Ralph count?
I don't count Wreck-It Ralph.
Okay.
Because like Wreck-It Ralph kind of cheats.
Okay. Sure.
You know I don't count Wreck-It Ralph at all. I don't count Tron either. Believe it or not.
Okay. I feel like your rankings have a lot of you know, a lot of like asterisks.
Skipping on that, but like I'm like I don't count Tron as an actual video game movie though.
I feel like there was one
I don't count
more.
Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph is cheating, obviously. Tron, I don't think I would ever count as a video game movie, but even though it is though, maybe I should count it. But I like Tron. Like I'm like super partial to Tron, so I don't want to say that.
Will you watch The Last of Us show when it comes out?
Probably. I mean, I'm open.
You should, because you haven't played Last of Us, right?
No, I haven't.
Ooh. I really hope it's good.
Again, I'm pretty open to like a lot of things to do.
Yeah. Still haven't done Queen's Gambit, huh?
Also, I was just still haven't done Queen's Gambit stuff. I was thinking of doing Ruby. No joke. I actually was thinking of doing Ruby.
I cannot wait till you do
like,
Ruby.
I don't know. I was like,
Yeah, that's fair. That's
I
fair.
almost did. I had the tab open. I was like gonna watch some Ruby, and I just closed it out.
You started to type RWB, and then you're like, I just can't do it.
I had it up actually. I was like, I don't even know what season I was on. I was like, probably season 5 or 6.
Oh, it's so far. It's so far away. You're so far. Good thing though with Ruby, the episodes aren't too long. They're usually all under like 20 minutes.
And except the finale's like 40 minutes, and then you're like, okay,
yeah,
buckle up.
Yeah. Like that double episode. Yeah. If you like, Ray, we can go to the super secret movie that we did. You know, because we skipped a week, right? It's like, all right, why don't we tack on?
Super secret movie. It's super crazy good.
I actually do have some news about this. So the movie we did was Mirai. I think it's actually like Mirai no Mirai, because it's like a play on words, because the sister's name is Mirai, but then also future, and they go into the future.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be like the future of Mirai.
Yeah. Which is a movie by the same studio that did Boy and the Beast, as well as Wolf Children. Two fantastic movies. Real quick.
They also did.
What else?
The Girl Who Left You Time.
Is that the same studio?
Oh, I don't think it's the same studio. I think it's the same director.
Same director. Okay.
Let me look that up, actually. I want to be correct on this. I don't want to give out false information.
While Ray's looking that up, I do have some news about this studio. They are doing another movie next season. So I don't know. Well, I mean, I know what it's called, but I don't remember. I just saw it.
Yeah, it's the same director, dude.
Same director, okay. So the same studio.
They also did Summer Wars.
Summer Wars was pretty good. I like Summer Wars. So yeah,
I will say Mirai is pretty good though.
Yeah.
I feel like he just skipped. Like I feel like he just missed with that. You know what I mean?
Okay, so would you like to start? Would you like to take this movie, Ray? Because I have some thoughts about this movie that I think will differ from yours.
I actually quite enjoyed the movie. Okay. Not gonna lie. I did not feel that it was like, because I was thinking the entire time a girl left through time, obviously while I'm watching the movie, because I'm such a cynic, you know. So I was watching it, and I actually enjoyed it. It hit some things with me. This could be because I'm a naive boy. And then you're gonna bring up something here that's gonna completely put me on blast or whatever.
Sure.
But I actually enjoyed it. I think the animation works where it wants. The story's pretty compelling. It's not like super generic. It has been done a couple of times, but it opens. It's like, you know, it shows like all the sides in a pretty well-rounded way. I'm not gonna lie,
Mm-hmm.
and it's exactly what you would want, what you would expect. You know, at least from what we're watching.
Yeah.
It felt natural and it felt fun, you know, at times when they were doing it. But I also knew when to like get like some more serious tones or like, because it's definitely like, oddly enough, it's a coming of age story that's not actually coming of age.
It's like
It's
before
more-
the age of coming of age.
More like accepting the new reality of your situation.
Yeah.
Where like our main character, I forget his name, has to now accept that like Mirai is now a part of his life,
Mm-hmm.
and that's always going to be there. As much as he hates it, at least at the time of the beginning of the movie, and he has to
Yeah.
accept that's his sister going forward. Which is, it's understandable because, you know, he wants to be, you know, have the attention, and then like everyone's paying more attention to like her instead of him, so he's like jealous, he's upset. You know, it's something that you can see in like kids because like it's something that's just normal. You know, it's like they don't fully understand that, at least at that point, you know, what that means. Even though like everyone else, like, you know, we're coming into this like with the actual experience, like, you know, like I don't watch this. I don't think the kid's a brat. I just think, you know, this is what kids do. He doesn't know.
Totally.
Like other movies, I'll be like, yo, this kid's just obnoxious, but I'm like, he just doesn't understand. It's like they don't know. He doesn't know like what he's saying or what he's doing. He doesn't know that. All he knows is that she's taking time away from him. He doesn't like it.
Yeah. 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 I mean, I agree with pretty much everything you said. My kind of beef with this movie is that
If it's about the dog, I'm about to laugh.
it's not about the dog. I just, you know, there's just some things about the movie that doesn't work for me. Whereas like, I do think the animation is cool. I do think there are certain sequences where they go over the top with it and like it works because it's supposed to be almost like a dream. You know, like when he gets, well, I guess it's him and older Mirai, when they get rushed with like all the fish, you know, all the fish come in. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
But like, I hate the main character, and I understand why he acts like he does, because yeah, it is like a dumb kid. He's like 4, and he's getting at best 50% of the attention that he used to get, right? And he doesn't understand why. Like, he's just like, this doesn't make sense. Still hate him. Still think he's annoying, and it would have been better if I feel like he learned throughout the movie, you know, because by the end it's he accepts it, right? He's like, okay, I don't hate Mira, I don't hate my mom and dad. It's just different, and I've kind of learned the importance of family, right? But I don't feel like he learned anything through 90% of the movie, because when he would have a learning experience, and it was very good the way they set it up, where it was always through the weird like time reality thing, like their little backyard area.
Yeah, the tree.
Yeah.
The family tree.
Yeah. it was very good the way they kind of set that up. You know, it's not really world building, but it's their building within their house, right? But every time he had an experience, he immediately forgot everything he just learned the next scene. So like one of my favorite scenes, or not even scene, just the whole sequence of him going back in time and meeting his mom when she was a kid. That was really cool to be like, oh, this makes sense why he is the way he is, because his mom was literally the same person. Did exactly all the same stuff that he did. And then we had the great thing where he came out of it, and then he like pat her on the head as she was sleeping. She was crying, which was weird because that kind of muddied the water for me of like, so is he actually going back in time? Is it a dream? And if he is actually going back in time, how would the mom be affected by it? Like, why is she crying?
I just thought that, at least based on what we were saying, I thought she's crying because she just always said that she was trying her hardest, but she doesn't know if she's doing the right thing.
Okay.
I just assumed that, but
Okay.
I mean, I could just be reading it wrong.
Yeah, that wasn't like a big sticking point for me. I was just a little confused. But we did have that great scene, right, where he learned. He's like, "Oh, my mom's like this," and and then after that, he's crying because he didn't get the yellow shorts, and he says he hates his dad, and he says he hates his mom, and he's leaving, and he's running away. And I'm just like, but you just had this whole thing where there was supposed to be character growth, and that happened after every single time he went forward or back in time. Where it's like, I thought, like, for me in a movie, I would like the learning experiences to compound on top of each other. But for this one, it just felt like it was up and down. Like he learned it and then forgot it, and learned it and then he forgot it. And then by the end, where my other beef with this movie is that it just becomes a horror film out of nowhere.
Towards the end.
Which was very jarring to me. It was cool looking, but it's like, okay, I guess this kind of works.
The man had his juice box, dude.
Yeah, he did. And then by the end, that whole thing is like, oh, I love my sister and my family, which is great because when you first start this movie, you're like, this is where the movie's going to go. Like, he's going to eventually learn and grow and love. But it just didn't feel like he learned anything until the end. And then the end, it finally all clicked, and then he was like, oh, I get it. But I would have liked to see it stick with him throughout the movie more. And to me, I just didn't feel like it did.
Yeah, I can definitely understand where you're coming from. At least in my opinion, I'm like, dude, kids who just don't care.
Yeah, which is fine. Like I get it. Like he's like 4, so it's like it would stick with someone like me or you, because we have the brain capacity to understand things like this. But then that to me is like, all right, well, your main character's kind of flawed. You should have.
Maybe like they could have had an aged up character. Maybe he's like 8 or 9.
Yeah, because to me it's weird, and like again I've never.
The thing is like that also doesn't work though, because like being that old, you understand why. You know what I mean? Like I understand the purpose of picking someone so young is because they don't understand.
Rayman just left. Man, it sounded like Rayman had some really good. Like something really good to say, and then he left. That's crazy. I guess we'll work on getting him back.
Okay,
oh, he's back. He's coming back. Yeah, you left for like 7 seconds.
Yeah. For like 7 seconds. Yeah. Okay, I'm back now. I saw that. Yeah, so I was like, okay. No, it's like the reason why they pick a character so young is obviously because they don't understand. The more you age up that character, the more understanding there is.
Right.
Which ruins the entire point of like the flaw of not liking, the sister, which is the entire base. The more you grow that age, the more they already know that's wrong. So the younger you keep them, the more they don't care.
Yeah. I mean,
it's tough to do that.
Yeah, which is exactly what I was thinking. Where it is like, it's like walking on a tightrope, right? You can't go too far one way or the other. You have to somehow walk right down the middle. And I think that's what they were doing with this movie. Where I think they did the best they could. Like I don't think this movie's a bad movie by any means. But
that's pretty good.
And I know like while there is a lot of truth to our feelings towards Girl Who Left Through Time, I do think some of it is kind of like a bit, but
some of it is a bit, but it's like a lot of it doesn't make sense.
Right. And I'm not going to go nearly as far and compare this movie to that one, because I think there was a lot more problematic things in Girl Who Left Through Time than this one. But there was a couple moments in this movie where I was like, it's kind of giving me Girl Who Left Through Time vibes, where I'm like, I don't I don't like that they made this decision. You know, like, I understand why they did it, and I understand, again, he has to be that age, because if he was any older, he would have learned a lot quicker. But I think that's just a really interesting choice to make, to want to make a story like this, you know, because it's also like, it's hard for me to relate to this main character, and you don't have to relate to every main character of every movie you watch, right? Because you're just not going to. But like, I was just watching the whole time, and I'm like, dude, you just gotta calm down. Like, not everything's so serious.
Like, I can't relate to him either. Like, I don't have any personal connection other than the fact of being like an older brother, like you are as well. You know,
Yeah.
it's the only connection I can make here.
Yeah.
Really grab at. Because as far as I know, in my youth, I was pretty calm and chill.
Same.
My brother's literally like just a year younger than me. I'm like, dude, this is like.
Yeah, I have probably a closer connection to this character than you do, because I'm 5 years older.
Yeah.
But like, I mean again, I don't have the best memory, right? But I don't feel like I was a pretty emotional kid, right? But like, I don't think I was ever whining for attention like this kid was, because like I loved watching cartoons, so I was just in front of a TV, or like, do you remember, I don't even know what it's called. It was like a CD player, right? You know, put the CD in, but it was a DVD player, and it was like a CD player, right? But then at the top it had a little rectangle, it had a screen, and you could watch DVDs.
It's like a Viewmaster, but not.
Yeah, I have no idea what it's called, but I just remember having one of those, and I was like, dude, this is good. This is technology, dude. This is crazy. I can watch a movie and walk around. Nuts. But yeah, I mean, I don't feel like I was ever like whenever my parents weren't paying attention to me, I was like whining about it. Like, maybe I don't remember, but like, I remember just being like, okay, like I get it. Like, it's like, I
can definitely say I was the calm child.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like cry because I have to eat food.
Say that.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't say like I wouldn't cry or anything like that, but I would say like, dude, like I was pretty chill. I feel like it's like there's also like not much of an age difference too, so I think that's also like a thing with me.
Yeah.
I feel like, this is my personal opinion, the only reason there's a situation like this is because the age gap.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's like if the age gap is ever increased, you know what I mean? You lose that factor. If the age gap is decreased, you lose that factor. It's at that perfect age gap where this is a common problem.
Yeah.
And you hear about it from parents all the time, dude.
Yeah. Which is why a lot of parents. Yeah, which is why a lot of parents, when they know they want to have multiple kids, they'll try to have them back to back, so they'll be so close in age.
Back. They're so close. There's no problem.
Yeah.
They don't know when there's a problem.
They're just dumb kids. Yeah.
You know, they'll be like, well, this is normal. They'll grow up with that. You know, they'll be like, oh yeah, this is like, yeah, that's how it is. And then with an age gap, like, you know, like a longer age gap, like 6 years, like they're old enough to know, oh yeah, the baby needs to be taken care of.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'll still be upset about it. They're not gonna be not upset if they want attention. They're gonna be like, but they'll be more patient though. They'll be like, this is, it's life.
Yeah.
It could be that way though.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool.
It's somewhat natural though. The movie, like, you know, it hits. Like, the problems are there. I'm not gonna lie and say that you're incorrect, because you have very valid points. I brushed them off only because I'm like, dude, it's just, at least to me, it's like a kid, and I'm like, this guy's an idiot. Just know what he wants. Just like some model trains.
Yeah.
And yellow pants.
Yeah, I mean, I like the additions of like the older siblings, or even the older self. I thought that was cool.
I thought if anyone felt confused that was the older self, I feel real bad for you. He basically said the same thing as him, like in the same way.
Yeah. But there's also
he even looked so upset. He's like, oh, it's you.
Yeah.
he's like, I know this guy and I hate it so much. The self-deprecation there felt so honest.
But I mean, like, I mean, the only other thing I have to say, I guess, is that, the only other kind of gripe I had was I didn't like when they showed the great grandfather racing the girl, because I understand in the beginning of the movie it was set up. It was like, oh, remember, this is what happened. Your grandfather raced the girl, and he said, if I win, I get to marry you or whatever. Or no, I don't think it was marry. I think it was just like, I get to go on a date with you or something.
Yeah.
And it all happened because he had a bad leg, and then you see, oh, she let him win, because she liked him too. So, it was like a whatever, right? But like, I didn't.
Did she let him win?
She did.
I just think I keep looking at that scene in my head, and I'm like, she's like, "Are you okay?" And he just doesn't care, and he keeps walking.
Yeah.
He's like, "I won," and then she's like, "What? I didn't think we were still racing." Just not.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh man, you're fast. I thought I was gonna be in trouble there." And she's like, "Haha, you're funny. If we race again, we'll see what happens."
It's a good. I'll count that one for the rematch.
That was a practice. Like I liked the scene in a vacuum, right? But like, to me, it didn't make sense. It wasn't a necessary scene of the film, like it was a payoff of some sort of setup in the beginning. But why would? So you're trying to tell me that the main character doesn't stick anything in the whole movie, but for some reason that makes sense to him. Like, he sees that and he understands the impact of that moment of people that have been alive for most of the time when he wasn't. It was a scene I didn't need. Even though it was nice. It was nice to see it, and we know that it's not like a folk tale or whatever. But yeah, I don't know, man. But with that, Ray, those are both of our movies, so we do have to pick a new one. I don't know if there's there's any. I don't remember what you said last week of like the ones you wanted to see. But we do have. Let me see the calendar. 1, 2. We only have 2 more movies left, right? Until Loki starts. So. Oh, we did. I gotta delete that too. So I was thinking, Ray, we should do the Bunny Girl movie.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So I think out of all of these, that's probably the one that I want to make sure we do before Loki starts. Because I'm sure in the future we'll have space here and there to do more movies, but it won't be for at least a couple months from now. So I do want to make sure we get to that one. So that means everyone out there, if you haven't seen the Bunny Girl show, it's like I don't know the actual title. I think it's like I know the word rascal is in there.
Rascal.
And I know the word dream is in there.
Dream of a bunny girl.
Yeah.
Senpai or whatever.
Yeah. If you haven't seen that, watch it. It's not long, and I'm pretty sure it's only just like a single core show.
Like 12 or 13.
Yeah.
It's a one core. Yeah.
Yeah. But it is very good. I gave it a 10 out of 10. I thought it was very, very good. And
I too also enjoyed it.
Yeah, and me and you've never seen the movie, just never got around to it. So
I heard the movie is depression incarnate.
Yeah, which the show wasn't like very happy, but for people to say no, the movie's worse, it's like, oh, is gonna be
the movie hits harder.
Yeah, it's gonna be something. Yeah, we will do that.
You get annoyed whenever I do that though.
That'll be a good time. Yeah, Ray, I think next we can just go to our shows. Do you have anything? Why don't we just start with SNAFU? Because SNAFU was the one that I think I watched first. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any outlandish thoughts about SNAFU, Ray?
Snap. Let me hit you this. The last 2 episodes were got work and the misunderstanding. Those were the 2.
Yeah, basically. I'm
Yeah, I
looking
mean,
at
that's
the
tough
link.
to say there. Because, I mean, like, the misunderstanding, that's classic rom-com
Mhm.
stuff. Snap is really going there now. The work thing, I feel like she's a relevant character who will be coming in later. Snap, I don't really have much thoughts on. I just roll with the flow.
Yeah. I mean, to kind of pick that up, I feel the same way. Where it's like I feel like SNAFU, I always have the least to say, because while rom-com, my favorite genre, right? You know this, Ray. I feel like this is like, I mean, I think we've talked about before, but this is kind of the precursor to a lot of like modern rom-com shows. And so I feel like us watching it afterwards is kind of rough, because I mean, I know me specifically, I've seen things that have come out after this that have taken from this, I imagine. And so like watching something that came before everything is like, okay, well, I've seen this before, you know. And also very tough for me. I'm not a fan of the whole like episodic nature of it, you know. The whole what was he doing? It was like helping the girl at work, right? And you find out, oh, she's working because she's trying to get money for her siblings' college or something, right? It's like, oh, that's cool. And the episode ends, and I don't care about this character anymore until they pop up eventually, you know.
He'll be a reoccurring gang member.
Yeah.
You know it, I know it. They'll come back. They always come back. Package Farm remembers.
So it's like, at this point, because we're halfway through it, right? I'm interested to see if they take a turn and if they actually start to put some heart into this show. Because I think right now they're leaning heavier on like the comedy aspect of it. And just like, oh, look how crazy this situation is. You know, and it's, I don't know, I think a lot of the episodes are built up for like one single scene. You know, like we had the tennis episode where the scene where they're playing tennis is great. You know, the actual match, right? But everything surrounding it was just kind of felt like filler to me. You know, to finally get to the point where they're playing tennis. And I feel like
I see what you're saying.
And I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like most of the episodes are like that, where it's all fluff, and then we get to a point in the episode where, you know, like with I think the one where we're learning about the girl who had a job and like why she was working. Like we had the scene where they were all there, and they kind of broke her down and got her to admit certain things, but then the whole episode before that wasn't very interesting to me. And so I really do hope that they ramp it up a little bit in the back half of this season for me to care about these characters, I guess.
Yeah. I feel like with SNAFU, it's more of like anyway, this is just like setting up the show. I don't know how else to put it. It feels like everything is just like moving it to like one big part, and after that we'll get where everything builds up on.
Yeah, I mean, because like, how many characters are they going to introduce? You know, because like at some point you have to start utilizing these characters in a bigger way, and they haven't done it yet. You know, they just keep adding more and more. And this also isn't a harem either, you know, so it's like, it's not that style, you know, because like if it was, we'd be able to see where it's going with all these characters, because harem's very predictable most of the time. But it's not that, it's just other characters, you know. But yeah, it's cool. But probably
It's amazing. It's cool.
yeah, it's cool. It's, you know, kind of how I feel about Promare, honestly. Just like, yeah, it's cool. I'm fine with it.
There's not much you can really say. Yeah, you just roll with it.
But probably
That's it.
my favorite show of the season, or not this season, that we're doing out of the 4, just me personally, is Megalo Box. I'm very much enjoying Megalo Box.
Box is nice, dude. I'm also enjoying Megalo Box.
You know, So what did we have this one? I'm just trying to. Oh yeah, we had him fighting his coach's ex, right? His ex trainee. That whole thing, I thought that was great. You know, there actually being some sort of connection to this character. He's not just some random dude. And you know, they introduced war into this show, which is something I didn't expect. And what else? And then for him to just going to town, you know, he's just way better than Joe.
Wrecks him.
Like, just so much better.
Joe flukes it out.
Yeah.
The guy just.
Well, because apparently he wasn't even supposed to be boxing, right? Like, his doctor was like, "Hey, you shouldn't do this," and he was like, "I got to though. This is anime. We have to have the emotional moment."
I'm not a coward.
Yeah. I was in war. Okay, I can deal with this. And then
I think I know I'm gonna just leave out of this one.
Yeah. I don't remember this. Okay. And then we do see the end where it gets more interesting on a bigger level, because now the people who are running Megalonia are now like, well, Joe is, you know, this gearless Joe guy. People are really rooting for him, you know.
Yeah, man.
And I'm interested to see where that goes, like if that's going to be a problem for them, or if they're going to try to like lean into it, you know, and like how dark and political this is going to get with them specifically. You know, because everything else is pretty standard, like standard sports anime, right? It's like Joe just keeps winning because that's who he is. That's what he does.
She's just a winner. You never take L's before.
Yeah, I mean,
except for the first episode.
Yeah.
Or the second episode. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, but those are like, he had to, right? Like he was being forced to lose.
Gotta take this L, dude. If you don't, they're gonna kill me.
Yeah, I wonder how. So we're halfway through, right? I mean, soon we're probably gonna get to. I mean, they can only show so many more matches until like the end has to be him fighting the champion, right? That has to be how they end the show or end the first season. Because we do know there's a second season. And I'm just guessing that he's probably gonna win. Like he's probably gonna be the champion, right? Against all odds. It's gonna be crazy.
Gearless Joe, dude. Gearless Joe.
He's gonna win. Yeah. I think that's it. And then we can go to what else did I'm just forgetting everything. We do To Your Eternity, right?
Yeah, we do.
To Eternity. Let me try to remember what happened. Oh yeah, we got I had the question of like, well, what about, can he turn into the demon bear thing? Turns out he can. Turns out he can do it. March died. That was crazy.
Yeah, they straight up killed March.
They just sniped her, you know, right in the side, killed her.
They don't play games.
Nah. And then let's see what else happened. Well, I guess there was the big thing with. Okay, so here's what I was waiting for, and I don't know if they're gonna actually follow through with it or not. But I was, you know, I didn't really like the whole like slice of life nature of this show too much. Wanted there to be something to be striving for, and up until this point there wasn't. But now there seems to be this like demon wizard, right? I don't know what their deal is, but they want this dude dead. You know, they want the secret of the orb, just like Shredder wants the secret of the ooze. It's the same thing. It's really the same show.
They all want the ooze, dude.
Yeah. yeah, we don't know what his deal is. I'm sure we will. I'm sure the next few episodes we'll learn more of it. Maybe we'll get the other side of whatever this conflict is. And yeah, I mean, and then we got the lady that was trying to take March. She's like a demon or something. Don't know what's going on with her. Yeah, March is a war hero, right? The parents the parents were very sad that March died, but like if I was that lady, I would have been like, nah, but like she's dead, which sucks, but you should hear how she died. Like it was pretty savage. Like she like she saved me. It was nuts.
I'm not sure if they would have hated her more if they were like.
Nah, it was crazy though. Your daughter's a hero. Yeah, I mean, you know, it is kind of like you said. It is more following the orb than anything else. You know, we finally left these characters. I don't think we're gonna leave them for good. Like I don't know what's next. You know. And then we got Tokyo Revengers, which is probably the best show we're doing right now, in my opinion. And Tokyo Revengers, what happened?
Went back in time.
Yeah, we did do
His
that.
girlfriend slapped him.
That did happen, yeah. Right, yeah, because we're getting this weird thing of like, now he doesn't want to go back to the future, because when he does, like, the original Takemichi like gets the body and like acts like his older self did, which isn't good, you know. And what is her name, Hina's like noticing it. I'm like, oh, like, yeah, like yesterday you acted weird, but today you're acting cool and chill, and I don't like it. It's not good, you know.
Yeah, who knows what's gonna happen, dude, when he does it again.
He's learn more about Draken, right? Or about his backstory.
What a savage! What a great guy!
He's good, man.
What
He's
a
good.
nice guy! Like, my man's like, this guy doesn't deserve to be in a gang. Look at him.
Yeah.
He's just a reliable guy.
I mean, it also makes sense why he's on Mikey's team, right? Because Mikey like saved him from those people. Like, hey, wait, you're way better than this. Why are we these losers?
Also, Mikey's a savage. Can we not like? Me attack here with his lollipop. He's like, I kicked this guy in the face. Square up. Nah, y'all run away. Okay.
I just killed him with one kick. Yeah, and then they are about to die, right? Everyone's about to die. That's where the episode left off.
Gang.
Which is like, come on, like, I mean, you know, I get it, but like, there's only like 4 of us. You're really gonna have 30 people come over here? That's not fair. You know, you gotta even out this playing field a little bit.
You tell me you want to have a war, dude? You're gonna bring everyone here? They're like high schoolers, dude. Like, yikes.
Yeah, I know. So, like, what do you think's gonna happen? Do you think that? Because, like, I would be shocked if this fight actually happens.
Same. I think it's gonna break up. I don't know how though. It's fine the way.
Do you think Takemichi will have a part in that? Think he'll somehow, I don't know, do what he's done so far in the show and just, I don't know, stop things from happening?
Yeah. Or he'll make it happen sooner. Like, dude, if it happens today, right, it's not the same as, like, it happening, like, a week from now. So there's no way he dies, dude.
Yeah, I don't know how he'll talk his way out of this one. I feel like it's kind of tough. Because I don't think they want to hear anything any of them have to say. You know, they've already made up their mind.
Like, as well, Draken had his back as well. But he was going to stand up to Mike. He's like, I think we should also see what we can do about this. And then Mikey's like, you're talking back to me? And he's like, no, I'm just letting you know.
Right. And they had the very intense stare down of like, ooh, is he gonna let him or not?
You gotta respect Drax. If he speaks his mind, he doesn't care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, which I'm sure
He's not
Mikey
bad.
respects, you know?
That's the entire reason why he has him around. He's like, I like you. You're actually good. You tell me what I want to hear.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely has to be Takemichi, right? Like something happens or... I mean...
I'd be surprised this guy got smacked. And it's like, oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I do like where it's going. I mean, the whole time travel thing is cool. I'm not convinced that he's gonna be able to fix everything though. I feel like it's very possible that the ending is just gonna be it happens anyway because time is time and you can't really stop anything like that. You know, it's like inevitable, right? Like Thanos. He also got a head tattoo when he was in the 5th grade. That's crazy. That's nuts. I get why no one messed with him. Yeah, right. Those are our shows. Having a good time. I looked at because we are halfway through the season, right? So I looked at next
6
season.
episodes.
Looked at next season to see what's going on, because I haven't seen what next season had to offer us at this point. And
Says Rayman as he goes to look at next season.
almost no sequels. Very different. I didn't see a whole lot of sequels. The one notable sequel though is a Dragon Maid sequel. Very excited for that. We'll be watching that every week, whether we do it on here or not. I'll be watching it.
We will be watching it regardless.
Very excited, but most of the stuff on there didn't really recognize any of it. I didn't like do any deep dives. I just kind of scrolled through the list.
Well, I guess there's a Higurashi sequel as well. And that doesn't really count because it's just the second part to whatever season was going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's like 3 or 4 sequels, but for the most part, I think everything was
it's
new.
like all originals, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Johnny's kind of getting into anime. Oh, we're getting Make You Black Company?
Yeah, there was a few on there that I recognized, and it's just because people have posted it on like Reddit a bunch. Like, hey, there's this show. And, like,
Michi Oni-san, dude.
I don't know anything about anything.
We're also getting the Black Maid and the Young Duke.
Okay.
Or the Duke of Death or whatever.
It's a good title.
And we're getting an OVA of what is this show called? Ancient Mage's Bride.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I never watched that show. I always wanted to, though. It looks really good.
Yeah, there's a lot of new stuff here. There's a movie coming out of Kinira Mosaic. And Bang Dream, let's go.
Oh, dude, do you see the Studio Chizu movie? That's the one I was talking about earlier.
Which one is this called? Oh, Ryu to Nohime.
I didn't read what it's about. I just saw that it was the same studio. I was like, oh, cool. New movie by those guys.
It's just called Bell. The movie is literally just called Bell.
Mm-hmm. Simple.
In English. Compared to Ryu to Sobakatsu no Hime.
That tracks.
Does not add up. But yeah, Bell. We'll probably give that a watch.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, a lot of original on here. Or like if they are, they're mostly light novel adaptations or manga adaptations.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but it's kind of cool to see a season that is not just bombarded with sequels to stuff.
Yeah, man. It's refreshing to say the least. And I've looked up the anime again for Chainsaw Man to realize that Studio Mappa is doing it.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a treat.
Have you seen a bunch
Of
of the
Map?
the like controversy for Mappa recently? How they're like overworking their people. There's been people that are like, like come out and been like, it feels like working in a prison. It's like, ooh, that's not, as much as I love Mappa, I don't, maybe you should not accept so many projects every season.
It's a fact. I mean, like, what was it? Mappa was supposed to do the Attack on Titan, but they moved it over, I think, to like a back last season.
Mappa did the most
Mappa
recent
did do
Attack on
it.
Titan.
No,
Yeah,
no. It was what was doing it before, dude.
I don't know. But they left because no one else wanted to do it. And then Mappa was like, I guess we'll do it.
It wasn't Mappa. It was Wit. Wit was doing it before.
Wit, sure, yeah.
Yeah, Wit's pretty good. Wit also did the Ancient Mage's Bride, Vinland Saga. If I can find anything else I can name. Vivi, that's on this season. They did Hal. Cabinet Iron Fortress. They did the recent Pokemon movie.
Oh, nice.
The one that I didn't see because I don't keep up with them. Yeah, what's pretty good. They know what they do. They do be good. Map is good, at least animation wise. Overwork, I mean, I can't say I'm surprised.
Yeah.
It's a harsh read.
Yeah, I mean, I just hate when I hear stories like that, because it's like, just stop.
I mean, like, if I tell you the map and stuff, you'll tell that they actually put like work into stuff. I mean, like Jujutsu Kaisen, obviously Attack on Titan, Kakegurui, Dororo. They did God of High School, Zombieland Saga, Banana Fish, Inuyashiki, Dorohedoro, Uchiha and Tora. Fine. Asara's and mine. Listeners. Well, you understand that, like, there's like a lot of stuff they do.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot.
So like, and like they're all pretty well animated, but if it's overwork, I mean, I can't say I'm surprised to get that level of quality.
Yeah, I mean, I think this season next season, I think there's like 2 or 3 shows they have coming out.
Yeah, I think there's like 2. I think they're doing the Heian Sadai, and I think they're doing the Rayman.
Yeah.
Which is the water polo anime.
Yeah.
I think I've heard of Heian Sadai. Hold up. This looks so familiar. Who wrote this, dude? Okay, so it's the same artist as what was it? Something Species Reviewer. It's the same story author of that. And then the artist is the guy who does Maid Dragon.
Okay.
For whatever that one is. For the anime that's coming out. I did hear of this. Yeah, so same artist as Maid Dragon. But
that's cool.
The guy who did Interspecies Reviewer's story is writing this one. And they got like Mappa to do it. So yeah. And the other one's just like the water polo anime. And Bones, of course, the classic Bones, dude. Yourself in that studio, Bones. Boneless. Eat the bones.
So Ray, so I got a question for you, Ray. We're pretty big fans of Avatar, right? the real one, Avatar: Last Airbender. I think we've kind of talked about this before, but recently it was announced that there is a Avatar podcast coming out officially, right? With Dante Basco, dude who voiced Zuko, and I don't know her name. I'm sorry about that, but it is the girl who voiced Korra. And I don't exactly know what they're doing. I don't think they're going like episode by episode, but they're just kind of whatever it may be, right? And that podcast was announced alongside a SpongeBob podcast, right? So two big podcasts from Nickelodeon. They're trying to dip further into the podcast market, right? But my thing for you, Ray, is do you find that concerning at all that along with a SpongeBob podcast, obviously SpongeBob, one of the biggest cartoons of all time, some say it is past, it should be taken out back and shot in the head. Do you find it concerning that they decided, along with SpongeBob, we're going to announce an Avatar thing, that they're kind of putting it in the same category as SpongeBob?
No. Because aren't they trying to revitalize Avatar right now?
Yeah, they got Avatar Studios.
So that's why I just don't have any problem with that.
Okay, because my thing, to kind of bring it a little bit deeper, is that maybe I'm sure you don't follow as closely as I do, but
No, I don't.
SpongeBob, going on a very long time. People are very sick that it still exists. It's been getting a bunch of spin-offs. We got Camp Coral. We got the Patrick Show is coming out soon. We got a Squidward show. We got a Sandy Cheeks movie coming out. And so people are like, man, you should just kill this IP already. Like, bring some new stuff. And so the reason I was asking if you were afraid they're putting Avatar in the same boat is because we see Avatar Studios coming out. It is headed by the creators, which is always good. But are you afraid the same way that Nickelodeon is doing with SpongeBob, they're going to treat Avatar? Because at the end of the day, they own Avatar Studios. It is not independent. It's not an independent studio. They cannot do whatever they want. Nickelodeon still has the final say in everything. So are you afraid that they're going to try to say, we didn't realize Avatar has so much pull, the same way that we know SpongeBob has a lot of pull? Are you afraid that they're going to, it's not a exact one-to-one comparison, but do you think they're going to SpongeBob, use the SpongeBob effect on Avatar?
It's possible, but not for any time in the upcoming and more recent future. I don't see it happening.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
I mean, I really hope they don't. Because Avatar is such a good world. Lots of good characters, and I hope that they don't try to milk it the same way they've done with SpongeBob. Because
Just sad if they do.
What was that?
Just sad if they do.
Yeah, I mean, because I think at this point people didn't like Korra. And the only reason people didn't like it is because it wasn't a 10 out of 10 the same way Avatar was. It was like a 9 out of 10, let's say. So imagine if Nickelodeon tries to push too many projects on Avatar Studios, and then we start getting, we may get another 9 out of 10, but then we also get a 6 out of 10. And we are diluting the brand, Ray. We cannot do this.
The brand is becoming less and less good. Oh no.
Yeah, it's not good. And I think the only, I got more stuff, but the only other thing I thought was interesting was, so we got the whole Percy Jackson thing, right? We talked about it before, Percy Jackson coming out on Disney Plus, getting that revitalized as well. With things like this happening, right? Streaming has kind of given the opportunity to bring back some IP, right? Is there anything
What is-
that isn't, to your knowledge, isn't getting brought back that you would like to get another chance? Not necessarily something that no one liked, but like, just give another chance to get some more mainstream success, like Percy
You know what
Jackson
I'm about
is.
to say it.
I have no idea what you're gonna say.
Some people call me crazy. Tell me, why have you always been talking about this? Why is it all that you know? I gotta say it every time. I would like if they... I feel like there's a couple things that come to mind immediately.
Mm-hmm.
The two that come to mind is the failure of the Thundercats reboot, which I thought was perfectly fine. I thought the Thundercats reboot worked. They had exquisite world building, by the way, and it was seemingly it was going in a good direction.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm surprised that it actually got canned. This is me just speaking out of my mind because I'm talking about Cartoon Network at this time. Why they can't Thundercats reboot? Was it just not bringing in the attention they thought it would?
Are you
It
referring
seems
to
like it was really good.
Are you referring to Thundercats Roar?
No.
Okay, because that's the newest one, the one that was basically just Teen Titans Go by Thundercats.
No. I ignore Thundercats Roar and look at the
Okay.
one that came out in 2012
Sure.
or 13-ish or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
It looked as that as like, they had something going there that seemed like it could kind of pop off. I'm
And-
surprised it didn't.
Yeah, I mean that must have been what it was, right? It just didn't get the numbers that they wanted.
And then this is me calling out. I do think that Gargoyles,
Okay.
I've been saying it for a long time. Give Gargoyles the respect it has. Gargoyles is so good.
So now when you say Gargoyles, what would you want to happen? Do you just want like more seasons of the show? Do you want like a reboot? Do you want it 3D?
Reboot it, dude. It's too old. You need to reboot it. You can't have a new season this time.
Okay.
I need a reboot. I don't mind if it's 3D animated or like animated. They could do live action. I don't know how they would do it, but they can.
Yeah.
I think obviously doing like a 3D/2D animation is a more easier realms possibility. You can get that going. Listen, Gargoyles, a lot of potential. Kids will eat that up, dude. Yeah.
So kids, very hungry.
They do be hungry. You give them a gargoyle, dude, they'll never starve ever again.
Turns out if they eat a gargoyle, they may die. Which is
The pilot for
which is the same as never starving again.
I was talking about how good the pilot for Gargoyles is. The pilot's like really good.
Would it surprise you never seen Gargoyles?
No, it does not surprise me at all.
I know what it is, obviously, but never watched it.
It does not surprise me.
I do want to though. I will watch it eventually.
The pilot sticks with me even up to now, dude. I think about that pilot and I'm like, they really had something going here with this. And obviously they had like more episodes, but it was really something special.
Yeah, so I wasn't expecting you to have answers right away. I'm very impressed by that. You had your gun unholstered, ready. I didn't expect that. What I was thinking about, Ray, was I would like if they brought back Code Lyoko. I don't know.
That was another one I was gonna bring up, but I thought you would say it, so
Yeah.
I stayed quiet for it.
I would just want another show. I don't need like a movie or a video game or nothing like that. I think a show would be nice. I would take either 3D or 2D animated. I don't think live action would work. I think it could work, but I think it would look better and run nicer as an animated show. I think 2D could be cool, but I wouldn't be mad if they kept doing it 3D, especially how far 3D animation has come since 2006, whatever it was when that show came out. And yeah, I mean, especially since then, like how much bigger anime has gotten and how clearly anime inspired that show was. I think people would really dig it, and they just reboot it, give it, weave some of the old story in there, but tell a new one. I think it'd be really good. because I remember when it was out, that was like, I feel like they didn't air a lot of episodes very often. So whenever an episode did come out, I was like, oh man, this is crazy. Go Lyoko time, Yeah, I think
It
that
really
was.
was good, dude.
Yeah. That's really the only thing I can think of. I mean, there's a bunch of other shows that were good that I mean, obviously I would like them to, someone to come in and finish Teen Titans. You got to do that, right? We got to have at least one more season of that. See how that actually ends with Beast Boy and Terra and Slade and all that. Will they come back? We don't know.
Don't know, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else. But yeah, I mean, that was it. Yeah, I don't really have anything else, Ray. I had I was gonna talk about the gas shortage. Did you see that happening? People putting gas in plastic bags. Crazy.
Very unsafe. Don't do that.
It's like, I took economics in high school, Ray. I understand the connection between supply and demand, but there's just artificial demand, which is lowering the supply. If no one takes gas, we won't run out of gas. Just stop taking it.
It's the same thing that happened earlier in the pandemic, where everyone was stocking up on toilet paper and everything like that. If you were just buying a normal amount, or at least just an extra case, there's not gonna be an issue. You know what I mean? It's because there's idiots out there who are buying 10 of them, and they're like, dude, I need all of it. Like, what are you gonna do with 10 of them, dude? He's gonna it's an extra case is fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not saying don't buy extra, but I'm saying there's a limit to how much you can do without it seeming self-indulgent.
Also, gas, way worse. You can't just store gas. You can't just do that.
It goes away. It evaporates.
Yeah, I just thought that was funny. And the only other thing I had on my list, Ray, was big stores, big chain stores. They aren't carrying Pokemon cards in store anymore because of 40-year-old white men who trample kids to buy all the cards because cards are big again. It's like, hey man, this is a hobby for kids. Can you just let kids buy them? And they're like, no, we have to get the rare cards because they're stocks now, and it's so sad.
These people are so wacky. Don't know what to say.
It's not that serious, It's the same thing. People are creating demand. That's what they're doing. It's artificial demand. It's just a hobby.
This is why I hate scalpers as well.
Hate scalpers. Still haven't gotten a PS5, Ray. Still waiting. Still waiting to get lucky on that,
No, I'm not saying I would buy a PS5 now, but I'm saying I at least want to see at least in stock. Maybe there's any Black Friday sales, kind of come up on estimations or whatever. But come on, dude. I have no need for a 5 right now.
Yeah.
I'll wait for it to go on sale either Black Friday this year or next year. I'll be fine. At least, for other people out there who actually want one, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'd say up until this point I haven't needed one, but Ratchet and Clank is coming out next month, and that game looks ridiculous.
See, similar to you, I'm personally hyped for Final Fantasy VII Remake and Intergrade when Intergrade drops.
Yeah.
Because I know that Intergrade's gonna be PS5 exclusive. They're locking it down on PS5 right now. They're like, we'll get the remake for Final Fantasy. If you already own Final Fantasy Remake, you get it for free on PS5. But Intergrade is gonna be unique, and you can't get that on PS4.
It'll probably be this year, right? Isn't that what they're shooting for?
Yeah, Intergrade are gonna release this year. They're not releasing part 2. It's just Intergrade.
Right. That is what I was gonna ask, because I didn't remember if Intergrade was part 2 or if that was just that DLC or that side story or whatever.
Let me be honest with you, Intergrade, the way that they're doing Final Fantasy VII. This is speaking in a quote-unquote spoilerless context. What they're doing is they're trying to incorporate the full story of 7. And Intergrade is a way to do it. They're these are characters that you don't see for a while, at least in 7. At least the way they're going about it. But they're going to be somewhat essential to a bigger plot of what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So having Intergrade kind of show what happens with them is pretty good. And then that kind of builds up on it. Because I will say, Yuffie herself is a optional character. You don't need Yuffie in the game. but she is like the main character of Intergrade.
I think Final Fantasy.
Hold on here.
I think Final Fantasy VII Remake is so interesting because like I'm never gonna play it, just not gonna happen. But it's one of those cases in video games where like most people would have said this game's never coming out, ever. Like it's been teased for years and years. It's never happening.
Disdain I've had for 7, really holds itself on. I'm just writing copium right now.
Yeah. But like, it's so funny to me because, again, like I don't really care about Final Fantasy like at all, really. But like, I followed the remake for so long, and then for it to come out and not only just release, first of all, like be a real game, but for it to actually live up to pretty much what everyone wanted, for it to be in, like the first part was in most people's game of the year, like discussion, and then for them to be like, oh no, here's this like side story thing, this optional thing, but it's like a whole real thing that's gonna be coming out, and then on top of that, we do have part 2 coming out, and people to actually be excited for this stuff off of a game that should have never happened and no one thought was actually going to release.
First of all, like Square Enix is smart. I'll give you this, okay? Like ever since Final Fantasy VII dropped, they realized they've hit something really big. Okay, this is like the largest thing they could ever possibly come out with. So you have all the Final Fantasy VII spin-offs. You got like Dirge of Cerberus. You got Advent Children. You got like things that include anything to have like 7 cameos in it. Tom Kingdom Hearts, they'll put 7 in there. They'll slide Cloud in Kingdom Hearts and be like, dude, you got Cloud. See, like, or like they'll pull like Zack from Advent Children and be like, dude, you got Zack. You know what I'm saying? And like they'll hint at it. They got the Cydia, so they can have more like worlds with like to include like Cloud and like other things that happen in 7 and Sephiroth. They planned this out, okay? Because they know 7 is their big money bag that they have here. They've never hit a big high as they have hit with 7. And 7's good. It's good. Let's not lie. 7's good. It deserves to be the prize collection. But they know it and they use it for everything. They're like, dude, we need money. How are we gonna make money? 7. Release the Final Fantasy 7 movies. Release this special that they're only gonna see for 7. Things that happen in other games, do something Final Fantasy 7 related. If they don't get a Buster Sword, what are we gonna do? It's their core. Not saying they're not making money other ways. I mean, 14, their MMO, people love 14.
Oh, yeah. And
they play it like religiously because it's an MMO. The only way you play MMOs are religiously. There's no other doubt about that. And 14 is a cash cow by itself, with its own entity. They made a good amount of money on 15. 15, they lost publicity because the way it was early. They patched up a lot of the problems later on, but what are you gonna do? I mean, that's just how it is.
And then fixed the ending or something too, didn't they?
Yeah, they fixed the pacing a bit in the ending. So
yeah.
They get 15 had its slow start, but like after a year or two, the game kind of just fixed itself with what they did. Which is, it's sad to say that, but I mean, it's what happens there. So,
yeah.
But they fixed the problems there. They have like a bunch of other teams working on different projects. Like I personally like, as you already know, I like their team that's working on the retro type games. They're the ones that work on Bravely Default, the ones that work on Octopath, the ones that's working on Project Triangle right now. That team I follow pretty much. It's a good team they got there. They know what makes the old game fit.
How excited are you for that new Octopath Traveler game?
The Triangle one?
Yeah.
I'm excited, dude. It's supposed to be a tactics-based game.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so like, I'll go back and say, so Bravely Default's like your Final Fantasy V, okay? No context, dude. That's what Bravely Default was. So when they come out with Bravely Default 2, it's another Final Fantasy V-esque, okay? That's all you need to know. They come out with Project Octopath. Project Octopath is for Final Fantasy VI fans. So like, this is what you would like if you like 6. You play Octopath Traveler, you get a similar feel for that. Different main characters, different things they do, they're all unique. Except you could do more stuff with this, and we have like different multi-classing and more fun options to do here. And you can go kind of wild with this fun. Then you have Triangle. Triangle's going to Final Fantasy Tactics. So Tactics is more those. If I were to say like there's like beloved Final Fantasy games, Tactics may be the ones that a true Final Fantasy fans would be like, dude, this is number 1.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And that's crazy because it's not even a numbered game. It's a spin-off. And they'll be like, Tactics is like where it's at. So for them to come out with like Triangle and be like, this is tactics, people are losing their minds.
Mhm.
It's been so many years before Square Enix touched tactics. So for them to come out with Triangle, they're like, dude, we're in it now. And based on like the demo and everything, they have a good balance of what they want to do. They just need to tune stuff, kind of refine it, and it'll be super smooth. And I'm assuming they're gonna have another demo as well to show off what they're having, and then they're gonna have another survey asking for people's feedback.
So
Because that's how the team works.
you played Octopath Traveler?
I have not played Octopath yet.
Okay.
Been holding off on it, but it is the 6 equivalent.
Okay. Are there any games that are coming out that you're excited for? That you're waiting for?
I'll be honest, I haven't looked at games in like forever.
Yeah. That's fair. I'm just wondering because I haven't really talked to you about any of that. I know like E3 that kind of time is coming up soon, and I will be watching all of the conferences.
Like,
'Cause I'm
big things I'm
interested.
kind of like hyped for. Like, you know, I'll say I'm hyped for Bayonetta 3. Never played Bayonetta, but
Sure.
I mean I'm hyped for it. Unless I plan on playing it, Bayonetta and catching up on those, 'cause it seems fun. If anything new for Devil May Cry comes out, I'm kind of excited for that, even though I haven't played Devil May Cry in years.
Mhm.
I'll have to hop on the old one, play through that one. By the old one, I mean the one that's a couple years old. Hop in that, see how that feels. I'm excited for Breath of the Wild 2 when that drops. Super excited.
Dude, okay, so real quick, it's kind of like, quick tangent. Breath of the Wild 2 just got put into those like Nintendo Selects. So it's $40 now instead of $60. I thought about buying it to, cuz I don't think I ever finished Breath of the Wild. It was just so long. I was just like, I get it. But I have been wanting to go back into there and like play through Breath of the Wild more.
Breath of the Wild, honestly, I'll say it again, one of my favorite games.
It was fun.
Just in
Yeah.
general. I can't speak for much because I skipped a lot of the older generation of games. Like I skipped things that like were big to other people. I skipped
Same.
Halo. I skipped like Fallout. I've skipped Skyrim.
Yeah.
I missed when Call of Duty Black Ops was like really cool. I
Dude,
skipped out on all that stuff.
Call of Duty was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't there for that, But when those were like the big hype and everyone was like, yes, this is what it is. So now I'm like, I'm older. I can actually do things.
Yeah.
So I'm like going through it. And I'm like, dude, like I haven't played Skyrim, but I'm like, let me pick up Witcher 3. Why? It's like $8. Witcher 3 came out like 6 years ago, dude.
What about Cyberpunk?
I missed it. I haven't picked up Cyberpunk yet. Don't plan on doing it until they actually like do a little bit more with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Same.
Like it looks good, but I mean, they have it from what I'm hearing. Like it's still like open world and everything. There's a lot of stuff you can do, but there's not really much, Or in run, shoot. At least in Witcher, I can play Gwent.
That's true. You can.
I want a game of Gwent. Yes, I do want a game of Gwent.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd say I'm big into JRPGs. I mean, I played Dragon Quest 11. It feels really good. Dragon Quest 11 is just a nice hash up of 6. Because I hate saying it, Final Fantasy 6 really sets like the JRPGs into like what they could be for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you ever played 6, Tyler, you're never going to.
Nah.
Because they're never going to remake it. It's something I keep saying and they never will do. Because they don't care about 6. Brush under the rug. We don't see 6. You'll never see 6. It's like something that will always be there and people will be like, I remember 6, it was nice. But then Square's going to be like, like 7 though.
Yeah. I mean, that's really the problem, is that it just gets overshadowed by 7.
It makes sense why it gets overshadowed. It's like 7 was like the first like 3D JRPG they're coming out with, so they're testing the PlayStation with it. Instead of having it be in like the old generation, where it was like for SNES. So it just completely like just overlaps. It's like 7, and it's still a bop, so it's not like it's bad. It's wonky though. Chocobo racing. Phoenix has all that stuff.
Why? Why do people believe it even a little bit whenever people claim to have leaked the next Smash Bros. Character. Why do people still buy into that?
I just stop because I assume half the time it's like people on 4chan.
I mean, like, Smash Bros. Characters do leak, but they might leak like the morning before the reveal.
They could leak like a week earlier, and I'll be like, that's fine, you know.
But like people recently, there's been a whole new rumor of like who the next character is gonna be, and it's like, I mean, I feel like they usually announce when their directs are gonna be, and I feel like if we don't have, like, I know E3 is coming up, but like, you know, whatever character you think has been leaked, it's probably not true.
I will say, like, at least for Smash, the greatest reveal was when we got Joker, dude. As the first DLC character.
Joker was
can't really
pretty
top
good.
that.
It was pretty hype.
Like, it's the Game Awards. Everyone's like, dude, we're just chilling, we're vibing. You know, we weren't expecting a Smash reveal at the Game Awards. Everyone's like, yeah, you know.
It's true.
Nice. We're just having a good time. See it, and it's like, we got an invitation to Smash!
We finally got Banjo. That was cool.
Banjo, dude. Sakurai got Pyra and Mithra. He fought so hard.
Did you hear that thing where apparently he has, like, in his little table thing, like table desk thing, he has figurines of all of the next Smash characters in it?
DLC characters, yeah.
Which is
he has it under lock and key.
Yeah, which is nuts. Crazy. He's great. Dude, do you remember Piranha Plant? That was something. That was crazy. It was like, oh man, look at this character. And everyone was like, who?
Plant. Not even like PD Piranha, just Piranha Plant.
Like, all right, Sakurai. I don't know what you're doing over there, but I mean, yeah, there are still some that would be huge, right? Like, there's still, like, people still want Sora. You know, they still want Crash.
Master Chief is a fun one to say.
Master Chief, yeah.
Dante, I think, is also fun to say.
The problem with Master Chief is that Steve was already announced. So I don't think Master Chief will get announced anytime soon.
That's what we say, right? But, like, they could do it.
It could be crazy.
Because we assume Minecraft is, like, you know, like an Xbox thing. Or, like, a Microsoft thing. So you assume it's, like, a micro rep, right? Could just be he's flexing Mojang at that point.
Could be, yeah.
I just think it's funny that apparently Toby Fox, like, wiped Sakurai. is the story that says, right? Or, like, the Sakurai, like, oh no, I'm losing. And he just walks off the stage. Toby, no, looks like we're gonna have to have Sans and Smash. What are you doing? It's like, Mr. Sakurai, you're just falling off the stage. What are you doing? You're so good. Oh no, we're gonna have Sans and Smash.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Smash is a very interesting game. Like how it exists.
I know who the next DLC character is.
Who?
It's just going to be Kojima.
Oh man, the man himself. Oh.
Because he is a video game character.
Yeah.
He likes to self-insert himself as much as he can. As he's like, it's just Kojima.
It's just Kojima. I'd want like Reggie. I think that'd be cool. You know?
Reggie's great. He must be like happy now, dude. That GameStop money really be like. The GME stocks went up, dude. He must be like, yeah, let's go.
He's like, Reggie was the one who started all that.
I wouldn't be surprised. Reggie's like, dude, diamond hands. Everyone's gonna buy GameStop. Don't sell. Hold. What do you mean Robin Hood's gonna close their market?
What do you mean?
Yeah, that's it. I don't really have much to say.
Yeah.
I'm not, like, games, don't keep up much with like upcoming games. I'll be surprised if I see anything. You know what I mean? This is how it is. I don't really think about them.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
upcoming
fine.
though.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll be watching all the conferences and I'll let you know. You know.
I'll be watching E3, but I mean,
It's like all spread out too, though. Like, you know, it's more compact this year, which is good versus last year. But there's still a bunch of stuff all over the place in June. Everyone got their own thing, you know.
it's that COVID, dude. That COVID
Yeah, it's great.
push back everything. But you know what that means? We're just gonna get a video game boom and a movie boom. It's gonna be
Yeah.
like crazy.
Movies have started to come out this year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Ray. I think that's it. Unless you have anything else.
No, that's it. I got nothing else, dude.
All right.
Pretty stacked. Pretty stocked.
So yeah, for next week, again we're doing that Bunny Girl movie. We are doing SNAFU and Megalo Box 7 and 8. Working our way through, you know. And yeah, I think that's it for that. Maybe Ray will watch Ruby. Maybe he'll lie for another week, you know. Say he's going to, but he won't.
I literally almost did, which is the craziest part. I had it up and I was like, I just don't feel like watching it. I closed it out. I just thought that's.
Yeah. Yeah, Ray. I will. I guess until next week, you know. Hopefully.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Until next time.
Till next time.
Most likely, yes. I mean, like next week, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not very confident of Ray. I'm not very. He winked, which I feel like he's trying to send me mixed signals. I was never in the army. I don't know Morse code. You know what I mean?